Folks, we have a special guest, the first segment. And Darvia, why don't you go ahead and introduce our first guest?
Our very own councilman from Collinwood, Councilman Mike Polensek. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great.
All right. So a couple of things that we wanted to get your thoughts on first. First, let's talk about the thing that's in the news right now, and that is the resolution that passed at Cleveland City Council a few days ago. You were the lone dissenting voice, I believe, on that. Yeah. So just give everybody your thoughts and why you chose to vote no on that.
Well, first of all, I agree with many of the comments that my colleagues made. I don't agree with the president's executive order. I don't think it was well thought out, and it's very clear now that many of his own military advisors were not vetted on the issue. But that being said, I personally believe that we have a right to know who's in our borders. We need to have secure borders. And, you know, when I look at all the need, and that's what I spoke about on the floor of council, when I look at all the need in the city of Cleveland and the fact that we can't take care of our own folks, and now we're supposed to be a city for illegals, for people just to come here who are illegal. I mean, put this in a bigger picture. I mean, we can't even take on East Cleveland. Okay? We can't even take on East Cleveland, our brothers and sisters. But I got to really tell you this, because I spoke, and anyone who heard what I spoke about at that meeting, put this in this context, in this time frame. That was the major topic at the council meeting. Yet we had a 14-year-old African-American girl abducted within sight of the 4th District, dragged into a wide-open abandoned house, and brutally murdered. That should have been the number one topic on our discussion. Then we could go on about all the streets in the city that were not plowed, okay, from over the weekend, and the issues that we each have in all of our neighborhoods. But I'll tell you what really set me off is when I had some of my colleagues compare the refugee crisis and the people trying to enter this country to slavery.
Oh, wow. Well, that's to be expected, because the slavery card is basically what is pulled out every time. So that's not surprising. Slavery Holocaust.
So, on behalf of my African American residents and constituents, I don't care if I'm the only Caucasian in that body or in that council who's going to stand up and defend my brothers and sisters. Last time I looked, blacks were kidnapped and forcibly taken from their homeland, put in chains on ships, and those who weren't thrown overboard, when they finally got to America, were put in the most extreme and harsh and brutal conditions. How do you compare that to refugees?
Councilman,
it's insulting.
It is, and I've always had rules, and I've written about that. If you're in political office, particularly, scrap the word Holocaust and slavery from your vocabulary, because you will always be clumsy when referencing those historical events. So just better off not to use them, because you will always trip over yourself.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised that one of them didn't bring up the Holocaust. Okay? but so I here I am. I'm not a congressman. I'm not a United States senator. I don't agree with many of the things that the president has said or the actions that he's taken. But you know what? I know my limitations. I know that I'm not going to be able to change that. And so you want Cleveland to be a sanctuary city for illegals, where we can't even take care of our own folks or safeguard our own children? Then I say to all those folks who allegedly believe in Judeo-Christian and the basic Islamic philosophies, then you should open your doors of your home and invite them all in, and you should pay for their basic needs. I'll guarantee you, as I'm speaking to you now, that will not happen.
Of course not, Councilman. And the reason why, and I want to know if you share this view, and it's quite obvious this was nothing more than a political stunt, and I do not like political publicity stunts. In your view, do you share that views that this was a political stunt?
Without a doubt, it was orchestrated. It was orchestrated, and they're going to allegedly come with the sanctuary city legislation.
Oh boy!
And I will tell you, I will vote against that. And if I'm the only one, I don't care, because I deal every day with poverty and despair. You realize, again, we're talking, that in the east side wards, the near west side and the east side wards, most of them except for mine, have a 40% childhood poverty rate.
Wow.
Double digit unemployment. Schools that are rated among the worst in the state. Thousands and thousands of abandoned houses littering the neighborhoods, wide open, as I just turned on a house this morning in my own community, wide open for 3 months. And then our main topic is refugees. Mm-hmm. Something is wrong with that picture.
So you mentioned about that there is going to be sanctuary city legislation
That's
following.
What they say.
So real quick, for people who may not know, a lot of people hear that term. Like, what would a sanctuary city be? And do you think if that legislation comes to fruition that it has a chance of passing?
Well, first, a sanctuary city is where you welcome people who are here illegally, and that you're not going to enforce any of the immigration laws. So, in other words, they're here, they're in limbo, they're non-status, they're not on anybody's radar screen, allegedly, and they're here, and we're not going to again do anything to support the immigration process or enforce federal and state laws as it pertains to being here unlawfully. I think that is opening the door for major problems in our city. Do I think it will pass? Of course I do.
Wow.
Because again, just what you alluded to, where people are playing to a select group or playing to the TV stations, or not even a radio, but playing to the TV stations, and trying to get on this bandwagon, whatever it is. Everybody in Cleveland is an immigrant. My entire family are immigrants. So I support legal immigration to this country, but I also go to that old saying, charity starts at home first. I'm concerned about our residents that are here now. Do I care and sympathize with people who are fleeing oppression in their native homelands? I certainly do, because we have seen it, and America has been a beacon of hope, and this great mosaic that we call Cleveland. We've all benefited from being in that multicultural, multiracial society. But my brothers and sisters, we got millions of people in this country. We don't even know who the hell they are.
Exactly. Councilman, in terms of the mayoral race, do you feel that there will be pressure on the candidates to embrace this issue? Because we have a candidate, Jeff Johnson, who says he's going to run, who's from my old ward of Glenville. And then I think there's rumors that Zach Reed is going to run. And then, of course, Frank Jackson. Do you think this is going to be a major campaign issue and both candidates are going to be forced to embrace it?
I believe people are going to embrace it for some unknown reason, rather than, I've always said reasonable people can come up with reasonable solutions. We're not being reasonable. We don't enforce. Again, we are not Congress people. We are not members of the House and the Senate. This is a federal issue. And why we're in this jackpot today is because one Democratic and one Republican administration after another has failed to put forth a reasonable immigration policy in this country for all the obvious reasons. One group wants basically slave labor, but they don't have to pay people anything or under the table. Then the other group thinks that we're going to somehow derive all these voters from these people that are coming in. It's not based on any common sense approach of how we benefit America, make America a stronger place. I want everybody to come here. I want them to come through a legal, identifiable process, and so they can become a part of America and embrace America. unfortunately, we have some people living in this country today, undocumented, who don't want to embrace America, don't want to be a part of America,
Absolutely.
which I don't understand. And so I just, to me, I'm a basic guy. I'm a very common sense guy. I've always been. People who know me, what you see with me is what you get. I'm not playing any crowd, any TV station. What took place Monday night, as I said publicly, I quite frankly serve in a body I don't understand anymore.
Did they take the East Cleveland pill?
I don't know what they took. We haven't even legalized marijuana yet, so I don't know what they're taking. Okay, I don't know what they're smoking down here. Maybe there's something in the pipes here at City Hall. You know, might be there's lead around here, lead in the pipes here at City Hall. But people are. You know, I'm in Glenville. I represent East Glenville. I'm in Glenville constantly.
Right.
I see the poverty, the despair, the lack of opportunities, and I say to myself, my God, that's where my concern is. That's where my priority is. And am I willing to help less fortunate folks that are coming to this country? Yeah, but I want them to come legally. I embrace immigration. As I go, and that's what I'm hearing from, whether it be my Eastern European constituents, my African American constituents. That's what I'm hearing from them, and I can't believe my ward is any different than my colleagues' wards.
Right.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about your ward and your neighborhood.
Right.
Collinwood is very close to my heart. I was born on the south side. I went to school on the north side. Our studio is in the Collinwood area now. Talk a little bit about the state of your ward, the state of your neighborhoods, and all of the things that's going on right now in your ward.
I think we've made great strides in many areas. Do we have challenges? You're doggone right. This economy, the collective economy, is still bad, and some of the things I've alluded to. We need more technical and vocational training programs for our students within Cleveland Metropolitan School District, as there once was. We see the graduation rates are still bad, and then what about the students who don't graduate? The lack of opportunities and skill levels they have. So I have been a firm advocate that we need more vocational technical training programs in all of our schools. If you talk to the legendary football coach over at Ginn Academy, Glenville, he'll tell you the same thing. And not every one of his kids are going to go play basketball or football. They need skill level, and not everybody can afford to go to college and be saddled with massive debt once they get out. As I have two daughters that are saddled with massive debt. So we need to continue to address the school issue. Abandonment. We're hoping this year to really see some stride in eliminating and taking out many of these abandoned structures, because the Cuyahoga County Land Bank was able to secure some significant federal dollars. So we are making, I can't speak to other neighborhoods, we are making a concerted effort to identify all the abandoned structures. We think it's a pretty definitive list, especially for my ward, and then target those properties, the ones that we need to take out, and the ones that we think to have good bones, that are good structures, to try to get those in the hands of our nonprofit development groups or in the hands of private investors to rehab them. We're looking at our commercial districts, the East 185th Street corridor, from a standpoint of a commercial redevelopment plan for the entire street. Obviously, I sponsored the legislation for the Waterloo Road improvements there. 152nd Street, as we speak right now, is under reconstruction. That's something that I worked on very closely with my colleagues. We've been pushing that for years to get the 152nd Street rebuilt. So that's taking place. Then a whole host of other initiatives. We should be opening officially in March the new Salvation Army Multi-Purpose Center at 17625 Grovewood. Has been a major addition to our community, where they could have gone to the city of Euclid or they could have gone elsewhere, but they wanted to invest in our community, and what the building they have put up is absolutely phenomenal. So,
yeah, I was there for the Martin Luther King event. It's a gorgeous place.
Isn't it great? And we're going to finish the parking lot, and then we're going to have the opening in March, and then the official grand opening, and then we've got a whole host of other projects and initiatives. We're trying to attract, again, different types of venues, restaurant venues to our neighborhood. what's going to make or what makes or breaks our community, we need to get those eclectic types of businesses, specialty businesses that people will go out of their way for. We're seeing collectively the whole retail business market is changing. Look at who would ever thought we're hearing that Sears could go under. We're seeing Macy's closing 100 stores, 10,000 employees. What's happening to the limited? The whole retail market as we know it is changing. So if we're going to be successful, it's not going to be based on attracting the chain stores. We're not going to get them. We need the unique beauty parlor, barbershop, the little restaurant, the meat market, the bakery, the boutique. Those are the kinds of businesses that we have reached out to, and we're going to continue to reach out to and try to bring those in. Diversity, ethnic and racial diversity, build upon that, build upon the outstanding institutions that we have, like Villa Angela St. Joe's, Ginn Academy, many of the churches and other institutions, the Salvation Army. I believe we are positioning ourselves well. Do we need more help? And that's why with the mayor's budget that was just submitted to us yesterday, I'm looking at that very closely as it pertains to how many more police officers are going to be hired. What are we doing, the city doing to really get the building and housing department under control, which has been dysfunctional for many years.
Yeah, my mom served 27 years in that department, starting at Ralph Kirk.
I was going to say, your mom was a dedicated employee, and she knows better than anyone how dysfunctional it has become. You know, the whole lead, we saw the series run in the paper about the conditions of lead abatement, lead enforcement. One inspector for the entire city? I mean, come on now.
Wow.
You know, and then again, as we speak, we have paid out, and the clock is still ticking, over $12 million in judgments for bad police behavior.
Wow.
So think about that.
And that's something to think about. And you gave us a lot to think about, Councilman. And as always, it's been a pleasure to have you. But Dario wanted to add something.
Let everybody know, Councilman, how to if they want to get in contact with you. You know how they make that happen.
Well, I do this job full time. They can always reach me at 216-664-4236, which is the line I'm calling you from right now, or at my email, mpolensek, POLENSEK at clevelandcitycouncil.org. You're either going to get me or my assistant, and then if need be, then I will get back to you, because I take this job very personally. I'm very honored to represent the 8th Ward. I was born in Glenville on East 120th Street between Oakview and Sellers. My mother moved into Collinwood when I was extremely little, I think around 1 year old. Grew up in Collinwood, lived in the Nottingham neighborhood for a long period of time. It's my home. That's my world. My great-grandparents lived on 47th Street off of Superior. My world has been the east side of the city of Cleveland. So I have a great passion for it, a great commitment to it, and I look forward to anyone who would like to join with us and seeing what we can do to make our community the best it can be.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilman Polensek, for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for what you do.
And you're always welcome to be on our show, because we come to know you as a voice of reason in the Cleveland area.
Anytime. I'm always available to you guys. Take it easy. God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye. God bless you as well. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.